Hello, dear viewers of Lytutieu today. We're going to explore the journey of URI and Lytutieu, two people who decide to live a peaceful and simple life far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. When city life becomes too overwhelming, URI decides to return to nature in search of peace. But can nature and a simple life really heal the wounds of his soul? From hunting clams to simple meals, URI is learning how to find joy in the little things. Can all the exhaustion from life disappear when he finally finds true peace by Lytutieu's side? Stay tuned to find out. In the early morning, the soft light of dawn gently shines through the window, waking URI up. He sits on his familiar chair, but his heart is weighed down with deep thoughts. The past few days, the company, the work, everything related to city life has become a burden he can no longer bear. At that moment, Lytutieu had just come home. He turned to look at her, the one who had always been by his side, always encouraging and comforting him when he felt exhausted. I want to start over," URI said firmly, his eyes lighting up as he thought about it. "I want to leave everything behind and go somewhere peaceful to find peace of mind. No more company, no more stressful meetings, just manual work and calm days." Lytutieu looked at him, her eyes a bit surprised, but also full of understanding. She had seen how tired he was. The work was too heavy, too stressful, making him forget the simple joys of life. She nodded, supporting his decision, though she was a bit worried inside. "If that's what you want, I'll be with you." URI smiled and gently patted her hand, feeling a strange sense of relief. He stood up, stepped outside into the garden, and breathed in the fresh morning air. "As long as we're together, I believe everything will be fine," he said to Lytutieu, before going back inside to prepare for the important journey. From today, he decided to live a new life, no longer bound by work or the worries of the city. The days ahead would be a journey to rediscover himself. URI said goodbye to Lytutieu and stepped out of the house. He slung a small backpack over his shoulder, carrying only the essentials for his journey to the freshwater lake he had long dreamed of. This was the place where he could find peace of mind. "Be careful and remember, I'll always be here waiting for you." Lytutieu called out, her eyes filled with worry, but also trust in URI's decision. "I'll be fine, don't worry," URI replied, his voice steady. He stepped through the gate, his steps light but full of determination. The road to the lake curved through lush green fields, the air quiet except for the sound of birds singing and the gentle breeze blowing through. URI felt as though he was becoming one with nature, leaving behind all the worries of city life. He walked along the path, quietly thinking that he had made the right decision. Leaving behind everything that couldn't be changed, he was determined to live the life he wanted, one filled with simple but meaningful work. The lake appeared before him, its clear waters reflecting the endless blue sky. He stopped and looked around. The stillness of the water seemed to invite him to begin a new journey. URI stepped down to the lakeshore, scanning the area for the clams he would catch to prepare dinner. Everything around him felt quieter than ever. He placed a small basket on his shoulder, ready for a new hunt. With only simple tools, he dove into the cool water and searched through it. This was an experience he had never considered before, but now it was part of his journey to rediscover himself. After a while, URI had filled his basket with clams. He smiled in satisfaction, looking at the clams he had just caught and telling himself, "I'm sure tonight will be a delicious meal." With the basket full of clams in his hand, URI returned home, his heart full of excitement. Lytutieu had already prepared everything to welcome him back. Seeing URI return, she smiled, her eyes shining with joy and anticipation. "Did you catch a lot?" she asked, helping him take off his backpack while looking at the basket of clams. "Enough," URI replied, setting the basket down on the table. "I'm sure we'll have a wonderful meal tonight." Lytutieu looked at the overflowing basket, her eyes sparkling. She was ready for a new adventure in the kitchen, preparing a dish with the clams URI had just caught. They began the process of cleaning them, carefully peeling the shells and cleaning each clam. It felt like all the tiredness of the day faded away as they worked together in the peaceful stillness of their space. "Do you remember?" Lytutieu suddenly recalled as she carefully sliced the clams in half with a knife. "We used to make dishes like this when we were kids." URI smiled at her, then reminisced about the old days when life was simpler, without the stresses and worries they had now. Everything was so beautiful and straightforward. They prepared the necessary spices for the grilled clams. Ingredients like garlic pepper salt and a little butter were all ready. The moment felt light, like a soft melody was playing in the background. URI felt the peace he had been searching for all this time. Once the clams were cooked, they sat down to enjoy the meal. Each bite of clam was fragrant, the natural sweetness of the sea blending with the delicate spices, refreshing their souls. Each mouthful seemed to erase all the worries and fatigue. URI felt the closeness and love Lytutieu had for him. They sat together, enjoying the meal in silence, only the rustling sound of the leaves in the wind breaking the quiet. All worries and tension melted away in this peaceful space. URI looked at Lytutieu, feeling true happiness, the peace he had long missed. Each piece of grilled clam, fragrant and savory, was not just a delicious dish, but also a spiritual gift that URI and Lytutieu gave to each other in these peaceful moments. The air around them felt lighter than ever, as if all the complexities of life were erased, making room for relaxation and deep satisfaction. URI sat quietly, feeling each breath, each heartbeat, as if wanting to remember every precious moment. Lytutieu looked at him, noticing his gaze soften, no longer distant and weary as before. She knew that despite the many challenges life threw their way, they could face everything together. "I feel like I found the most important thing in life," URI said softly, his eyes lighting up. "It's not the meetings, not the numbers, or the work I once thought was so important. It's moments like this when we're together, sharing simple meals and feeling peace within ourselves." Lytutieu smiled, understanding reflected clearly in her eyes. She didn't need to say anything more, simply holding his hand in silence, feeling that everything between them was becoming stronger. All the worries, the pressures from work, family, or life no longer mattered. They had found peace in each other. The lake still quietly reflected the sunlight, gentle waves lapping at the shore. Life here seemed to have changed URI. He had let go of the rush, abandoned the worries of the city, to return to nature, to the simplest things in life. And now, sitting next to Lytutieu, sharing grilled clams together, he felt as if he were reborn. "I'll do this every day," URI said, his voice full of determination. "I'll build a new life, a life I truly want to live, not for anyone else, but for myself. Lytutieu looked at him, then sat down beside him, under the shade of a tree, her eyes gazing into the distance, where the green mountains were gradually disappearing into the sunset. She knew URI had found true peace, and he would never return to his old life. URI's new life began here, free from worries, free from the race of life, only silence, peace, and being by the side of the one he loved. His story was proof of the importance of finding happiness in the simplest things and the understanding of love.